Hi, I'm Alex,
And I'm Jocelyn.
and this is the Forest Family.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me no more.
Hey y'all, so we are back, and we're coming at you with 5 tips for how to make your house feel like a home. We are approaching the 1-year mark in our house.
Woo! High five.
We're adults now. If I'm being honest, when we were in the apartment, it didn't feel like home. It felt like it was your place. It didn't feel it was mine.
Of course it felt like it was mine. I lived there on my own for 5 years, and then all of a sudden this other person shows up and is moving in, and I'm like, okay, I agreed to this, but there's no more room.
I know when we bought the house, we really wanted to make sure that we both felt established in the house and that we both had areas that could be our own. Anyone can live in a house, but it takes 2 people to really make it a home. So here's the first tip that we came up with. You want to invest in your home. Just like when you go camping, we had LNT, which I thought was a name of someone. I thought her name was LNT. But no, it's the letters LNT, and it stands for Leave No Trace. The mindset behind that was to really leave your campsite better than you found it. Over spring break, we had 2 big projects that we worked on. One of them was big because of the time, and one of them was big just because it was a bigger dent in the wallet than we thought. Over break, we made these built-in bookshelves, which started out as a pipe dream from an Instagram story.
Look, they even posted all of the steps on how they did it.
If you're gonna post something, post it with steps. After we built the built-in bookshelves, I had some leftover lumber, and we built in these garden beds where now we can grow our own fruits and vegetables.
I'm so excited.
Going hand in hand with the investing in your space tip, we're gonna come up with step number 2. So while you're investing in your space, it's good to carve out places where you can just be yourself. While you should be able to be yourself with your spouse or your partner, sometimes you just want to be yourself away from them. That's perfectly fine. Both Jocelyn and I know that we sometimes need our alone time.
We are both individual people who come together in marriage, yet still individuals. So we need to take care of each individual.
Exactly. You want to find your sanctuary. So I know that in our house, my sanctuary has become part of the office where it has all the video games. It's been really cool, and if you weren't checking out the Instagram stories, and if you haven't checked the channel out on Twitch, it's Mr. LaForest Games. We actually built an arcade 1-up in the old reading nook in the office.
Alex's sanctuary has really been this office space that you get to see a glimpse of every time we make a vlog. I mean, you see the new additions to the wall. My sanctuary, however, is kind of a little bit more all over the place. I'm the kind of person who I need set aside areas that can't cross-contaminate with tasks. So my sanctuary has mostly been, especially since it's been warm, outside on our patio area. I am really trying to make that into a viable, comfortable space. It's an easy spot. It's right by the little garden bed. I can have the dog out there. I actually sketched it the other week. That's kind of where I'm at with the sanctuary piece. Alex has his.
Do you know what else is a sanctuary?
What?
My album, out on Spotify. Coming at you with tip number 3.
So tip number 3 is open it up. We love hosting our friends. We love having people over, parents over for dinner. So opening up our home has been something that we put into practice as soon as we possibly could. When we first moved into the house that first weekend, we had our friends and family over who had helped us move as a way of thanking them. I mean, it was a mess. We barely had any forks or plates.
You all lost our truck.
Thankfully, nothing was on the truck. We just didn't get a truck, so we had to figure out a different way of moving stuff. We just opened it up, though. There wasn't any preconceived notion that our home had to be perfect. It was nowhere near where we wanted it to be, but we wanted our people to be there.
And I feel like that's such a focus that a lot of people have, is that when they have someone coming over, when they're doing something, everything needs to be perfect. But the reality is, we are not perfect people. If you can welcome somebody into your mess, and I'm not saying your house has to look like trash. Maybe all the dishes aren't done. Maybe, not everything that's on the coffee table is at a right angle. If you can invite people into your home when it's not perfect, not only will you be happy with having people there, but you'll be happier with your house because you won't be fixating on everything.
That, and it invites this comfortability that you don't get when you walk into something that looks necessarily like a magazine. Now, trust me, I love a good magazine home, and I do struggle with not focusing on cleaning so much when we know we have people over. But I try to keep it down to a priority list. Is the bathroom clean? Is where we're gonna be eating clean? And are the seats cleared off? Because Lord knows, dog fur and laundry are the biggest culprits of stealing seats in our house.
So if you've enjoyed the tips so far, make sure you drop us a like, smash that subscribe button, because here comes tip number 4. Focus on what you have. We live in a 2-bedroom cave with 1 bathroom. I'm gonna say that again. We live in a 2-bedroom cave with 1 bathroom. 1 bathroom's not that big of a deal for when it's just us, but when we have people over, I know that I often find myself wishing we had 2 bathrooms. I can fixate on that all I want, but that's not gonna change the fact that we live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom cave.
Now, we do want to leave it better than when we found it, but those projects take a long time. And advice that we were given when we moved in from many people was that there will always be another project. Take it slow.
We could always focus on what we don't have. Like, I know one of the jokes that Jocelyn and I have about our kitchen is that when we lived in our loft apartment, we had more counter space. Now, we've had barely any counter space. But the thing is, we may not have counter space, but compared to our old apartment, we have space. So if you're focusing on what you do have, opposed to what you don't have, not only will you appreciate what you have more, but you're gonna be happier as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tip number 5. We've been talking a lot about investing and being happy with what you have. Like Jocelyn said, there's always gonna be another project. Some projects are gonna scare us, and they're gonna scare you, but you have to take a chance. Now, obviously, if you're working with plumbing and electrical and stuff that's way out of your wheelhouse, call a professional. Don't be afraid to take a chance. We didn't know how to build built-in bookshelves. I think that they look pretty good.
They do.
You know, we got some IKEA bookshelves. We put them up against the wall, made sure that they were level to the floor. Apparently our ceiling's not level, which found that out the hard way. We put up fake walls around them, and we basically just built the wall that was already existing out 11 inches. It came out really well.
Now, there was a point
Where
however,
I thought that that was not gonna go well. Spackle and paint. And molding.
molding is a gem.
Don't be afraid to take a chance. You can always undo what you've done. You can always pivot your project.
Pivot! Pivot!
I like that. You can always pivot your project.
Right?
Yes.
Pivot! 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 Pivot!
If you've watched the past couple of videos, know that we are trying to highlight some of our favorite local businesses. Now, Manchester has a ton of fantastic locally owned and operated businesses. Our focus lately has been inside the Manchester Mall because it's currently a really cool place to hang out.
Now, don't get it confused with Buckland Hills. Buckland Hills may be in Manchester, but Manchester Mall is on Main Street. And again, these are all small, locally owned businesses. So the shop that we wanted to highlight this video has quickly become one of our favorite spots to find some clothes. You know, I've done a lot of shopping at Lucky Brand in the past, and I've bought a lot of clothes that look like really cool vintage t-shirts and jeans and jean jackets. Natural Selection Vintage. Phenomenal store. The guy that owns it, Dustin, he's really down to earth. He actually really helped us with the garden boxes, getting that compost. Dustin, you're the man. But he has an awesome curated selection of clothes, everything from smalls for guys to XXL and beyond, as well as
Women's clothing. He's also got some great kids shirts. He's got accessories. He's got these crazy cool old hats. If you're looking for an 80s like windbreaker jacket, you know, the kind with the super rad colors and all the different patterns and everything, he's your guy. Always bringing new items in. Give him a follow at Natural Selection Vintage on Instagram. When you're there, tell him that we sent you.
So far for our local highlights, we focused on Retro Junk, which is our video game store,
Manchester Cheesecake Company,
as well as Natural Selection Vintage. And we have a few stores like coming down the pipeline that I know we are super excited about.
real excited.
So if you've been following us at Alex Forrest Music or Forrest Family on Instagram, you probably know what we're talking about.
If you have any challenges that you'd like us to do, drop them in the comments below, as well as any local businesses in the greater Hartford area that you'd love for us to check out.
Bye.
Close my eyes, see your feet up on the dash. Empty wallet, no cash, and a Red Sox ball cap.